Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again here with Team USA. A big welcome to you. We have Emily Henrich, we have Rachel Johnson, and we have Sione Fukofuka. So just a reminder with all of your questions, if you could raise your hand if you have a question, and we will get to all of them as quickly as possible. We do have our volunteers with mics, so if you could wait until you have a microphone in your hand before you ask your question, that would be appreciative. So we're going to start with BBC and Sarah Orchard.
Hi, Sarah Orchard, BBC. Nice to see you guys again. First of all, Sione, did everyone come through that team run unscathed?
Yeah, everyone came through pretty well.
And what's it like actually finally being in the stadium? We are nearly there.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Obviously, we know what's going to happen tomorrow night, but getting the chance to come orientate and run through our paces was pretty positive today, to be fair.
We're hearing numbers now of around 44,000. How have you guys prepared particularly for the noise that you're going to experience?
You may have seen it out there. Like we tried to recreate as much noise as possible, distract the players when they were in play. We've got a couple of little strategies that we want to keep in-house, but yeah, orientating to it and knowing that noise is going to be here is important. But with that noise comes energy, and we want to really soak that in and embrace it.
Rachel, I mean, congratulations on your selection, first of all. What does it mean to you be starting in this opening match?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's such a privilege. It's a privilege in this opening match, second World Cup. Feels a little surreal. And in the Stadium of Light, I really like this quote on the wall. I didn't bring the magic. It's always been here. And you can really feel it in the stadium. There's not even any fans in it yet, but the stadium's in a great condition. And I think tomorrow night's going to be tremendous. And it's such a privilege to represent my team, my people, my country. And yeah, I can't wait.
Can you give us a little bit of a taste of what it's like, your rivalry at the moment with Frida, with getting that starting shirt?
Yeah, no, Frida is a young player. She's a tremendous player, great footwork. It's great having someone in your position then where we can push each other. And yeah, I wish her the best.
And Emily, just give us a little bit of a taste. Again, you're going to be going up against the likes of Abby Dow, Jess Breach. I know you're attached to a PWR club now, so what's that going to be like?
Yeah, so I think a lot of us have been attached to PWR clubs, so there's a lot of familiar faces. We've played each other a lot, and so I think it's a good test for all of us, just that we've competed against each other this past season and seasons before, and so now taking such a big stage and really bringing the energy into this game, I think they're familiar faces, so I'm excited for the challenge.
And just lastly from me, what was it like when Leicester came in to run against you and all of your club mates were there?
It was funny, actually. For me, it was my first time meeting the new coach and a couple of the new players. So it was like reintroducing myself to that club afterwards. And it was one of those things I didn't want to go say hi until after the scrimmage was done. So we had our little run against them. We did our part, and then it was nice to afterwards get to introduce myself.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Tara Flanagan, Golf Rugby reports. First, congratulations to the Eagles, and looking forward to tomorrow night. Coach, you have about 27 hours before kickoff, so how do you keep the team loose, and what's sort of the game plan? It's like the Tom Petty song, the waiting is the hardest part. So what's your game plan for just waiting?
Yeah, it is. Obviously, 7:30 tomorrow night we'll kick off and the game will start. But this group has been really positive. The back end of the week is the players' time. So we've tried to step back as much as possible, and our leadership does a great job at managing that. We have jersey presentation, so there's a moment to connect, come together, celebrate with family. And to be fair, for the most part, we try and let the players have space, little activation in the afternoon, and then we start our process. And yeah, we've done that pretty well. And you probably would have seen with some of our games, we tend to start the game really positive. So we're not going to change anything in the lead up to this one.
Thank you. Emily, I haven't seen you since we saw you winning the Sorensen Award in Seattle a few years ago. One thing I want to say or ask you about, your tackling skills are somewhat renowned. So it seems like you'll have the opportunity to use them tomorrow night. Do you feel confident and ready?
Yeah, England's really good at working the ball to width and stretching the field and getting into their back three's hands. And so hopefully we'll get a good chance to practice those tackling. And I think we've just done a really good job as a team under Sarah Shabbat, our defense coach, and really owning those tackle skills and working really hard and getting our tackle tech, but also getting that launch off the line. And so it makes it a lot easier to make your one-on-one tackles if the defensive system's running well, which I think it has been in these weeks leading up.
Well, that's great. I wonder if you all are aware, any of you can respond to this, that the game tomorrow night is obviously not only popular here, but it's been moved to CBS Sports Prime in America tomorrow, and also several members of the 1991 World Cup winning team, Eagles, are flying out and will be here tomorrow night. Does anyone want to respond to how popular you are in this matches?
Correct.
It's so cool being part of the growing game in the U.S. Excited to see the 91 legacy. They've been supporting us through the entire journey I've been involved. So that always feels really special, but especially feels special is the more young people in America who not just recognize our sport, but identify with it and are either playing it or know someone that plays and they're excited about the game. Young boys and girls, older men and women. I think it's a family game. And it's really cool to see America start to embrace that game. And yeah, we get to be a part of that.
Thank you.
Just behind.
Hi there, Harry Latham-Coyle from The Independent. You've touched on PWR already. It's hugely important, I guess, to this squad, given the number of you who have been here, and in Rachel's case, been here. You're a stalwart of the league, I guess. Can you talk about just what that has given you and what it's given this USA squad, the opportunities to play in a world-class league like PWR?
Yeah, obviously quite a few women on the team are represented in different PWR clubs. I joined Chiefs 5 years ago during a time when there wasn't any sort of professional setup in the U.S. And so to be able to come here, have paid coaches, a setup, world-class players, and different structures to play in was, tremendous in not just your growth as an athlete, sort of physically, but also mentally and tactically understanding the game. And then in terms of competition, being able to play against some of the world's best, is sort of unmatched. And so to bring different players in from different clubs who get to experience different bits, and then Sione can sort of meld that into what he wants here. It was, I don't know, but I can't really speak to how important that was for a lot of the growth of a lot of the players on the team still, and definitely previously.
And that extra environment has been quite special because obviously you all sort of came over at a time that was quite difficult for life, and you were a new club, and just some of those bonds you built with some of those players, Claudine McDonald obviously, or Maloney McDonald, you'll know very well. What's it been like sort of being on the opposite side? I guess you're well used to it given how cosmopolitan that squad is. But it must be nice to go up against them on this sort of stage.
Yeah, no, early Exeter Chiefs, such a mixture of different nations represented in that squad. And I think that's what makes something like a World Cup extra special. You don't get to just represent your country, but also get to play against teammates, friends, and that just makes the game a little bit more sweet.
And Emily, you've overcome some pretty significant injury challenges to get to this point. Can you just sort of chronicle, just because you missed the last World Cup basically because of injury, is that correct?
Yeah, so it's been a long time coming to get to this point. Right before the last World Cup in June, I tore my ACL, so June 2023, or 2022. And so it was hard after the World Cup was already postponed to then postpone my World Cup another 3 years. So it is pretty surreal stepping onto this pitch now, having torn my ACL, missed out on the last one, and so desperately wanted to be there. You work so hard in the years leading up, building with a squad, and those are your friends and your family, and you feel like you really are contributing. And so to miss out on the last one, it just makes getting to this point all the sweeter. And so I'm really grateful to be able to step onto the pitch with a lot of players I really look up to and really cherish. And so it'll be really sweet tomorrow to do it in front of 40,000 also.
Sione, we know how strong England are. I think it's 87 of their last 91 games they've won. They haven't lost in 27 games. How do you benchmark your performance against that? And what are the things that you just have to get right against a team with that sort of dominance?
Yeah, they're number one for a reason, aren't they? And they're strong in so many areas. So in terms of benchmarks for us, we challenge ourselves to compete. So we know their set piece is going to be strong, but we feel confident in where we're built to. They have threats across the park, but so do we. You know, we have some pretty experienced players, some explosive players that we want to unleash. So for us, in those small areas we want to compete, but obviously convert opportunities, and that'll be a big thing for us. If we can start the way we've started in our last 3 test matches and give ourselves an opportunity at creating momentum, then we really want to chase that. And obviously at the end of the 80 minutes, we want to be proud of the effort that we put in.
Any further questions? Yes, sure. Keir?
Thank you. Keir Murray, Rugby News Service. Rachel, I'd read that you're keen on the quiet life at times away from rugby. You enjoy a bit of reading and walking. So how do you find it when you're cooped up with, 30, 40 other people?
Yeah, sometimes you don't. No. Yeah, we've spent a lot of time together so far in this lead up, small breaks here and there to sort of reset. But I think in terms of any high pressure job or situation you get to be in, you just have to create the time that you need for yourself. Our prep is so important, but your prep as an individual to be able to show up every day for your team is also super important. And so whether you just wake up a little earlier to take a little walk for yourself, or you find those 15 minutes to just find a quiet space and sort of recenter yourself, those are those moments that are, allow you to be more fully present when the team. But it's also what a beautiful experience. This isn't, at some point, this won't be here anymore. And to be able to look back on this time and know that I got to experience something that not everyone gets to experience in life, let alone sport, is, I'm going to hold a lot of joy for those memories. So it comes and goes, but it's all part of it.
Yeah. And Emily, it was pretty apparent when the USA team went onto the pitch just how much you were enjoying getting onto the surface and getting to run around. You know, for yourself, you'll be relying on your speed out in the wing there. What about the pitch? It looked like in fantastic condition. It's ideal for someone like yourself.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like having a grass pitch like that that's so quick and smooth, it creates a lot of opportunity. We're trying to integrate some kicks into our game, and so you just hope that the bounce will be more favorable on a pitch like that. And it's just really exciting after, I think a lot of us in the States grow up playing on rugby pitches that are soccer pitches converted into rugby pitches or multi-purpose fields. So to then take a field like this and really know that it's leaving nothing to chance, it's really exciting.
And Sione, if I could finally ask you, is there a curfew tonight? Do you go around the corridors, banging on doors, making sure everybody's in the room and sleeping?
No, not at all. No, I've got a lot of trust in the players, obviously. Rachel alluded to it. We have a theme of team first, and part of that is that individual need. Some are quite happy to spend a little bit more time connecting, but some, 8 o'clock, their lights are out and they're ready to go. So, they've had plenty of practice and they're ready for this moment. So we just want them to enjoy it.
Good luck.
If you just want to pass the mic back, thank you.
And this is for Rachel and Emily. I think 7 weeks you've been together in camp, which is a long time. So I think that's longer than anyone else. Has that been? And it's obviously a decision that you've played some higher ranked opponents in the build up. What have you learned from those games, and how tough has it been in each other's pockets for the last 7 weeks?
So I think Fiji really proved to us how fast and how wide we can play the game. And then Canada is obviously our North American rival. And so we always come in with a lot of heart. And really, we competed with them for a lot of that match. And so I think we took a lot of learnings of what we need to do to finish out a match like that, especially with how competitive it was in that first half. But to speak to being together for 7 weeks, I think we've all grown a lot closer. So those first couple of weeks, we were at Mount St. Mary's and we were in sort of cottage-style houses with 10 to a house. And I think from that, living together in sort of like that sorority almost setting, we got a lot closer, and it fostered new relationships that I think I didn't have before. And I think it's translated to on the pitch, because once you've spent so much time with people off the pitch, it's easier to read their cues and what they're thinking and play a little bit better off of each other. And so I think those 7 weeks were invaluable, even though it is a lot of time and there are days where you feel like you just want to like go off on your own, but I think they've allowed space for that as well.
And the last to Sione, how much PWR do you watch? I mean, I don't know where you are in the world, and some streams are good, some less. How much do you watch of that league?
Yeah, a fair bit, to be fair, because obviously we've got players, I think it's in 6 teams. So I try on the Monday once the games are finished up to get access to them. So what would we say, 4 or 5 hours worth each Monday, and then check in with the players across that time, because as was alluded to before, it's a world-class league. Our players have been well prepped, so we want to make sure that we're tracking them and watching them and have a good idea of where they're at any time before we come into camp.
Any more questions? We will end it there. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you very much to Emily, Rachel, and Sione. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right now, nice to see you too.